Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life. Hey everybody, Brian Smith here with the Iron Team series and the Daily Influence. And today we're going to talk about honesty. And this is going to be an interesting topic. Look forward to hearing and reading what people say about this topic as they get into it and listen to it, because the fact is all humans lie. And that might be a really hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. But I'll challenge you. The simplest lies, the white lies, are still lies. For example, when our spouse says, "Do you like this red shirt or this purple shirt or this polka dotted shirt?" And you say, "Oh yes, honey, that looks great." But inside you know you don't. But you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. And this is what I mean about all people lie. We all also embellish, and we don't do it out of malice. We do it as part of storytelling, which humans are particularly good at. We get caught up in moments and we slightly exaggerate an emotion. We slightly exaggerate the size of a fish we catch. And it's not meant for anything other than to make the story more interesting and to carry the attention and that feeling we get when we're carrying that attention with others in our areas of influence. Psychology Today had a really good statement about truth and about honesty. We are interested in truth and lies in people's everyday communication. Most people think a lie occurs anytime you intentionally try to mislead someone. Some lies are big while others are small. Some are completely false statements, and others are truths with a few essential details made up or left out. Some lies are obvious, and some are very subtle. Some lies are told for a good reason. Some lies are selfish. Other lies protect others. And when you put these comments, this statement from Psychology Today, into context in our own lives, in our area of influence, in those subjective situations that affect only us, it makes more sense. We do sometimes lie to protect others. And a lie is as simple as omitting the full story because you don't want somebody to hear everything about a topic. You might have something at work where a mistake happens and you talk about the mistake, and somebody asks you, "Well, who caused that to happen?" And you might say, "I'm not sure, but we're solving the problem." But you knew who caused the mistake. And you did that to protect the person who caused the mistake, but you still lied. And it's not about this goal to be 100% truthful. It's about a goal to understand the times when we use omissions of information or we embellish and why we do them, and are they important or not. Understanding the value and consequences of honesty within the context of each situation is really important. If you over exaggerate all the time, if you are constantly lying, constantly misstating truths, even if it's innocent, you develop a reputation for that type of person. Are you okay with that? I know people in our lives who are like that, who seemingly exaggerate, change things, don't tell the truth about things that don't matter all the time. They're inconsequential. There's no consequences to them other than we know they're not the truth. For example, "I'll be there in 30 minutes. No, they won't. They'll be here in an hour. "I left 20 minutes ago. No, you didn't. You left 5 minutes ago. I saw so and so for an hour. No, you weren't. You were there for 15 minutes. These things don't matter, but they're still not true. So yet these people do this over and over, and they get in these patterns. And we can get impulsive, and it can compound. People who do those types of things tend to use embellishment and untruths to cover up the originals. And again, oftentimes they can be inconsequential. But when they matter to us, it's really, really important that we understand why we do these things. I write in the book about a time I took a job in the 80s, and said I understood something better than I did so I could get a job. I embellished my experience. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I caused a lot of people a lot of problems. And it cost them money. And it affected my ability for a short time to sell myself. And I had to look in the mirror and say, are you going to own the fact that you're not quite ready for these types of jobs? Are you going to do what is required to elevate yourself to meet the standard that you're telling people that you're at, but you're not? How we approach the challenges that we overcome with embellishment or lies is really important. That's being honest with yourself. Embellishment is still lying. Overstating something about yourself or others is still not telling the truth. And there are consequences to that. There can be great consequences. Imagine in some of the environments that you are in, especially regarding safety or people's money, what kind of problems can be caused by embellishing, setting improper expectations when you know you can't meet those expectations. It's better to set low expectations and overperform. Now, if I set a low expectation, even though I know that I'm going to perform better, am I telling the truth? Well, no. But I'm telling, in my mind, and I'm justifying here, I'm setting an expectation that is realistic for all parties. And if I know I can do better, but I only know I can do better if I can control everything. And if my experience has always been that, and I could say I would perform better and not be lying, or I can say I'm going to perform a little bit less. And while that's not totally the truth, I'm under embellishing. I'm setting a realistic expectation. And this is why honesty is subjective. Honesty needs to be understood in the context of your areas of influence. How you wield your honesty, how you own up to it. I actually tell people that I underestimate because I want to overperform, and I'm often challenged about that. So you're telling me, Brian, that you generally perform at this level, but you're telling me that your expectation is you're going to be lower. Yeah, but lower is still above your expectation. I would never set somebody's expectation below theirs. If I had to do that, I'd ask them why we were doing it in the first place. And if I set the expectation at theirs and I agree to it, I expect myself to perform to that level. Lying tarnishes a reputation, so be careful about how you use embellishment or white lies in your life. Our obligations for honesty lie within the context of the situations where you find yourself. You could find yourself with a secret and you're challenged by somebody if you know something and you say no. There are going to be times where that's going to be a moral challenge for you. And in those moments, you're going to have to slow down and self-analyze and understand the consequences of both sharing the information you have or saying that you don't have it, or saying that you have that information but you can't share it. And there's still repercussions to that also, but it's still truthful. But oftentimes we can't handle that as humans. We can't handle the response, the emotion that comes from being truthful, because sometimes being truthful is painful. And not being truthful really delays a different kind of pain. But you have to understand that in your areas of influence. You have to understand these things in the context of your life. The big takeaways are, when determining your level of honesty, consider what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be someone who validates and supports others no matter what, or someone who will always give an honest opinion? Could you balance and be both? Lies always come with a cost, whether it be a friendship, whether it be money, or something else. There is always a downfall to being dishonest, even if it doesn't appear immediately. And if you know that someone else is lying or cheating and you don't say anything, do you become the accomplice to that? Have you made yourself part of that influence, the carrying on of that influence? You have to determine these things. You have to live with these actions, and it's a very difficult human thing that we live with. But I just challenge you to challenge yourself to determine what you're willing to live with in this area of influence that we all have to deal with. How will you deal with the dishonesty in your life? How will you approach the management of these things so that your life is the most positive it can be in a way that you can deal with it? And I challenge you to talk about it with people you trust. And that's a really difficult conversation to have. And if you don't have somebody, again, go to somebody like a professional, a coach, or a therapist who will objectively have these discussions with you and unpack how these things in our lives as humans influence us. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.